Sometimes I struggle to find the right words, so this week we're going to go instrumental. Hey, welcome to Charlie's Open Mic. My name is Charlie Mosbrook. On this week's show, we have instrumental guitarist Doug Wood. He's collaborated with an awful lot of people. He's also a booking agent, and recently he's been working with a program called acapella on his iPad. During the pandemic, it's allowed him to not only collaborate with others, but to work out ideas of his own. We're going to talk to him about that and more, so please stick around. But first, let's listen to his music. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your background. So you went to John
Okay.
Carroll, but before that, you're not from Cleveland originally, are you?
I'm from Northern Ohio. I went to high school in Huron High School,
Okay. What?
which is out by Sandusky. Played music and jazz band and all that kind of stuff.
You were a program director at UJC.
Yep. Back then it was WUJC. Thank you for remembering that.
That's
Before they
still the way I remember it.
before they changed the call letters. So my experience at John Carroll was pretty cool at the radio station because it exposed me to a whole genre of music, which kind of steered my direction in my own personal musical life.
Through John Carroll, you got introduced to a lot of new music. I'm guessing like John McLaughlin and stuff like that.
Honestly, my brothers introduced me to a lot of stuff like Pat Metheny, John McLaughlin. I knew those all before I got into college and started listening to college radio. What my experience at WUJC provided was the alternative to John McLaughlin and Pat Metheny.
Okay.
Like people like Michael Hedges or Alex DeGrassi or Phil Auberg, the pianist, or George Winston, the whole entire Wyndham Hill label. And then I got exposed to some of it's a little cheesy and very 80s and 70s sounding now that I think about it, but I got exposed to a lot of things like Tangerine Dream, Vangelis, and Jean-Michel Jarre, all those what was classified as new age, but they were really experimental kind of crossover between progressive music, progressive rock, and instrumental rock. So I got exposed to John Carroll. That experience was a fabulous experience.
And did you start developing your guitar technique in the middle of all that, or was that something that was more developed while you began working with Darren Frate?
I explored a little bit of the creative aspect. In fact, a couple of my songs that I wrote in college actually made it onto the first What's Gnu CD that came out in 1994. I was still learning what the guitar was all about to me. So I was exploring some personal creativity with guitar. I enjoyed that, but I was getting to know songs, like learning how to play every single Neil Young song, starting to tap into playing some Yes tunes, just exploring how other people wrote and me trying to play to that.
Now describe What's Gnu for people.
I met Darren Frate through the drummer on our CD. The drummer on our CD, Brian Farley, did a comedy show at WUJC. I was at a talent show and I played one of my tunes, and Darren and Brian played a tune. Darren, in fact, what I loved most about them is that Darren and Brian had as bad a sense of humor as I did. They got they got up on stage and Darren sat down at the drums and Brian played the bass and they played miserably. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then they looked at each other and switched roles and then blew me away, probably blew the audience away with their performance of their tune. I'm like, I know Brian because we're on the radio station together, but I pretty much like pined to explore what Darren had to offer. And so in 1996 or 1986, before I graduated college, we jammed a little bit, and then that was it. When I graduated college, I ran into Brian Farley. He said, "Hey, Darren's still there." And so that summer in 1989, Darren and I, after I graduated college, Darren and I started playing, and we had our first gig. This was when the Barking Spider was a half of a room. It wasn't the full space that everybody kind of came to know it as. And we crammed the space each and every single time we played there. It was fun. I think pretty much it was such a small place, everybody crammed the Spider. But
I played and nobody showed up and it was crammed. It was jam-packed.
One of the benefits before they opened it up and made it larger, that was one of the benefits of the smaller space. But it was pretty much the launching of our career. So he decided to go to Berkeley, and I decided I'm in a corporate world. This corporate world stinks. So at 24 years old, I went off to Boston. Darren went off to Boston to do music. I went off to figure out how to do this music thing better than I was in Cleveland.
Hmm. And you guys continued to work together while you were there.
Yep. So we kept the band together.
Hmm.
We did gigs. We practiced. We wrote we wrote material. This was in 1991.
Hmm.
We ran into a drummer, a pretty good drummer. It was a little bit more heavy edge than what our music prescribed, but it was still good. His name was Pedro,
Hmm.
and so Pedro and Darren and I just did gigs all around Boston. We got some notoriety. You
Hmm.
know, Spin Magazine and Pizza Hut competition, national competition. We placed second, which is the story of my life.
Mr. Second place too.
You, in fact, congratulations. By the way, I placed third. Our Cellocentric CD placed third as best instrumental CD. So, yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah.
It's great.
Again,
I mean,
yeah. So
Brian was on my page the other day and talking about how many CDs come through his hands. So when you're
yeah,
third, and he's got 150,000 CDs passed through that competition, it's something. It's,
it's yes, and it's pretty much just the fact that you're nominated. I know it sounds cheesy, but just the fact that your music made that much of an impression,
Mhm.
yours too, really kind of says something. It does.
So shortly after that, you went away from painting houses to now booking musicians and bands and
Yeah.
colleges in the country. Tell me about that transition a little bit. And was it purely to give yourself that head start, or did you really enjoy the role of booking agent?
I think I did both. But before I moved to Boston, I was in sales. I was actually pretty good at it, and it was the type of sales where you call people and they respect. You know, they know what you need. You're selling business to business. They
Hmm.
know who you are. It was you know, it was a good, respectable. You know, it wasn't like selling magazines or selling
Cheese.
car warranty. You know, car warranty things. And so when my painting company finished, like that whole year from 1997 to about 2000, I was kind of taking a sabbatical too. Like I needed to recharge. I wasn't sure what my life was up to. Then I just got this burst of creative energy. And it was right around 1999. My first solo CD came out at the end of 99, at the beginning of 2000. It was the I Am Kirok CD. The energy involved with that was great. I was getting good recognition from it. I was starting to get more gigs from it. And I didn't want to do one of the failings of my experience with What's Gnu is that we were always trying to get somebody else to do things for us. Oh, we got to find an agent. Oh, we got to find a booking agent, or we got to find someone to manage our label. We got to have someone book us and get us a, you know, a record deal or whatever. And it dawned on me that nobody in this music business does it by waiting for other people to do it. And it took that creative burst that I had to realize, you know what? I've been doing sales for so long. Why am I doing sales for other people when I can do it for me? I started doing everything under the sun. And that was our mission with the Modern Acoustic Music Collective, the MAM Collective, was to say, hey, you know what? I'm doing this. I happen to be good at it. Let's make a team out of it. Let's make a team effort. And so you know, we basically the whole experience took about 3 years from 2000 until about 2003 before I started getting the hang of it and started building a foundation. I realized you needed to devote some time to it. You needed to spend a couple of years, 2, 3 years doing it to be able to build a foundation. By the time 2006 rolled around, I ran into by accident Tracy Silverman,
Mm-hmm.
violinist, electric violinist, who a Wyndham Hill artist. And I ran into him and I just said, hey, I'm doing this thing at the college market and I think you'd be good at it. And he said, okay, sure. And he recorded a track for me for a commission for a gig. And then it just became an experience where I just became his manager after a couple of years. So I started booking him and started working with him for like a good, I think the relationship was about 8 years, which was a good experience for me. And that experience led to my you know, getting into bigger national stages and realizing, at a certain point I realized, you know what, the last few years, I've been wanting to do this thing solo, and so I just decided to kind of fizzle that out and concentrate more on my solo stuff, which is what I've been doing lately.
Now, in addition to your solo stuff, there's also your collaborations with what is it, Cellocentric?
Cellocentric, which is very fun. Guitar. Currently, the current lineup is me on guitar,
Hmm.
uh, bassoon player Arlie Savage, and cello player Catalina Borja. She's from Colombia, and we still do our creative sort of classical meets a little bit of folk, a little bit of world, and some little jazz mixed in a little bit as well. And we still get out there and do our thing.
Currently, obviously, you're probably not getting out there and doing your thing, which
Sadly, yep.
brings me to a topic I kind of wanted. I've wanted to talk to somebody about for a while, and that is using acapella.
So basically, acapella, it's basically like a recording track for video.
Okay.
It's amazing. So when you see all these videos of your friends or the national videos with all the little squares, there's a couple different programs out there that do that. Acapella is one of them. It's probably the easiest program to be able to use it on your own device. So you can create your own videos and layer tracks. So, for example, I believe the track that you saw that you used, I had a basic idea, but in my head, I'm always writing other ideas down. So it's perfect for me because I can now explore those ideas and not have to like use a loop station or something like that and break it all up and try to do it all at once. So I can do one track and then I can do the next track
Hmm.
and then the next track and then the next track. And I have fun with it. It's a great way to explore music before I go into a studio. I create multiple tracks so that I can work out new ideas. So I do that all the time. So, real quick technical detail for people who want to do iPad or iPhone and record is I got this about 160 bucks microphone. It's an MV88 from Shure, and it's got a little input that you just pop right into your device. Pop. If you don't use a mic or if you use your earbuds as your mic, you're always going to get little clicks. You're also not getting like a really super high quality mic.
Okay.
And I started using this and I've started getting a lot better recordings out of it.
In the middle of the pandemic, how have you tried to use the past year positively?
I'm an artist in residence for the clinic. They took a 2 month hiatus. They still paid their musicians for 1 month. I'm thankful that I'm still able to go in there and perform. One of the things I've done is do porch concerts. Back in the early part of the pandemic, people were desperate for live music.
Hmm.
It's one thing for me to listen to you when you do one of your live stream shows, which I enjoy, but I miss that personal connection. I miss the bad jokes on stage. I miss the interaction between the musicians on stage. And I think for me personally, I miss the connection with my audience. Because I really like to, you know me, my show is not only instrumental music, it's telling bad jokes and leading up to stories that go nowhere. And I love doing that. And I love like people like rolling their eyes at my bad jokes. I miss that. I crave that.
Hey everybody, it's Ray Flanagan. Happy anniversary to Charlie Mossbrook and his thing, and God bless America.
Hey, thank you for watching Charlie's Open Mic this week, and thank you to Doug Wood for sitting down and talking to me about his music and his story and his life. As always, please hit that subscription link down below. Please ring the bell for notifications of upcoming episodes. You can always find us at charliesopenmic.com, where you can find a Patreon link to help support the show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.